If you've ever felt your heart racing for no reason, your thoughts spinning out of control, or that heavy tension in your chest that just won't go away, listen closely. What if I told you that your anxiety isn't a flaw, it's a message? That what you've been trying so hard to silence might actually be your body's way of protecting you? I know, it sounds upside down, because most of us were taught that anxiety means something's wrong with us. But what if the truth is that it's your nervous system asking for care, not correction? See, anxiety relief isn't about getting rid of anxiety. It's about understanding the signal behind it. Those anxiety symptoms you keep fighting aren't signs of weakness. They're signals of strength. Your body saying, hey, something here needs safety. And when you learn to regulate your nervous system, to engage in real emotional healing instead of emotional avoidance, everything changes. You begin to experience self-regulation, peace, and even faith that feels grounded, not forced. So, by the end of this video, you'll see why anxiety isn't your enemy. It's your ally in disguise. You'll learn how trauma recovery, nervous system regulation, and even faith-based healing can turn that storm inside you into clarity. You'll understand anxiety explained through the lens of your body, your story, and your resilience. Because once you decode the signal behind your anxiety, you won't just manage stress. You'll learn how to calm anxiety naturally and reset your entire nervous system for peace. Understanding anxiety as a message, not a malfunction. Most people treat anxiety like a broken alarm, something to switch off, hide, or suppress. But the truth? Anxiety isn't a defect. It's a form of communication from your nervous system. When your heart races or your thoughts spiral, it's not weakness. It's your body saying, I don't feel safe right now. That's why healing anxiety naturally isn't about silencing it. It's about listening to it. Just like pain warns you not to touch a hot stove, anxiety signals that something inside you, maybe emotionally, spiritually, or physically, is craving balance and safety. Think about it like this. When your phone battery runs low, it flashes a warning. You don't curse the phone, you charge it. The same goes for your mind and body. Anxiety symptoms are simply low battery signals from your emotional system, calling for self-regulation and care. This is why trauma recovery and nervous system regulation are so important. They help you interpret what your body's been trying to say all along. And when you finally listen, you start to build emotional resilience and a deep sense of inner peace that no quick-fix app can offer. Here's the twist. Once you start viewing anxiety as a signal, not a problem, you stop fighting yourself. That's when the real healing begins, the kind that comes from mindfulness for anxiety, faith-based healing, and even somatic healing practices that reconnect you with your body. But understanding is only the first step. The real shift happens when you start applying that awareness in your daily life, especially when anxiety hits hardest. And that's where the next part of your healing journey begins. The body keeps the score, listening to your nervous system. Here's something few people realize. Anxiety doesn't start in your mind, it starts in your body. Your nervous system is like the backstage crew of your emotional theater. When it's overwhelmed, you feel it as panic, tension, or fatigue. These aren't random anxiety symptoms. They're part of your body's ancient defense system. So, when your chest tightens or your stomach knots, it's not just in your head. It's your body saying, I've been running on survival mode for too long. The path to anxiety relief begins by tuning in instead of tuning out. Let's make this practical. Imagine you're in a meeting and your heart starts pounding. Instead of panicking, you could pause, plant your feet on the ground, and take 3 slow breaths, longer on the exhale. That's self-regulation in real time. It sends a message to your brain, we're safe now. These micro moments of nervous system healing are what create emotional stability over time. They're simple, but powerful, like mini trauma recovery tools hidden in plain sight. And if practiced consistently, they become second nature. When people talk about healing anxiety naturally, this is what they mean: retraining your nervous system to feel safe again. It's not about suppressing your emotions, it's about recalibrating your body's sense of safety. Through mindfulness for anxiety, trauma-informed care, and somatic healing practices, your nervous system learns a new rhythm: peace instead of panic, calm instead of chaos. And when that happens, something profound unfolds. faith and anxiety stop feeling like enemies. They start to coexist in harmony, which brings us to the next deeper layer of healing: faith, fear, and the hidden power of trust. Here's the paradox. The same mind that fuels anxiety is also capable of restoring peace. But to do that, it needs something deeper than logic. It needs trust. Faith isn't about pretending you're not scared. It's about choosing to believe there's meaning even in your discomfort. Many people think trauma and faith can't coexist, but they do, and beautifully. When you invite faith-based healing into your anxiety healing journey, you shift from, "Why is this happening to me?" to, "What is this teaching me?" That change in perspective alone is a form of emotional healing. Think of someone stuck in traffic, feeling trapped and overwhelmed. Instead of spiraling, they whisper, "I'm safe. This isn't forever." That small act of faith interrupts a trauma response and activates nervous system regulation. You don't have to be religious to do this. It's about faith in life itself, faith that your body and soul are trying to guide you toward balance. Faith and anxiety aren't opposites. One refines the other. The moment you stop fighting your anxiety, you make space for healing through faith and self-compassion. And here's the kicker. When trust becomes your foundation, anxiety loses its grip. Because now, instead of fearing the unknown, you're anchored in something unshakable, your own resilience. This is what emotional regulation truly means, responding with presence instead of panic. Once you taste that, you'll crave more of it. But there's still another layer to this healing process: how your daily habits, the small, unnoticed routines, either feed your anxiety or free you from it. Let's explore that next. The everyday habits that quiet the storm within. Anxiety doesn't just appear out of nowhere. It feeds on how we live. Late nights, endless scrolling, skipping meals, saying yes when we mean no, they all drain our nervous system until it's running on fumes. Healing anxiety naturally means rewiring those small, daily habits that quietly shape our inner state. It's not about overhauling your life overnight. It's about micro changes that help your body feel safe again. Think of it like giving your nervous system tiny reminders that it's okay to rest, breathe, and recover. Take something as simple as a morning routine. Instead of rushing into the day, start with 2 minutes of silence. No phone, no news, just breathing. That pause signals your body. We begin from peace, not panic. Add a nourishing breakfast, sunlight on your face, or a short walk. Those moments create a nervous system reset. They're not luxury, they're medicine. Over time, these self-care habits become armor against healthcare burnout, emotional exhaustion, and even trauma responses that sneak up in daily stress. But the real magic happens when these small acts become sacred. When you realize that managing anxiety isn't a chore, it's an act of love. Whether it's journaling for emotional regulation, practicing mindfulness for anxiety, or setting healthy boundaries, each small choice whispers safety to your body. And once your body starts to believe it's safe, your mind finally begins to rest. Yet there's one more layer that turns healing from a practice into a transformation, and it's about emotional honesty and self-compassion. That's where we're headed next. Emotional honesty, the bridge to lasting peace. Most people think healing is about becoming calm all the time, but that's not true. Real healing is about becoming honest. Emotional honesty is the moment you stop saying, "I'm fine," when your heart is screaming for help. It's looking your anxiety in the eye and saying, "I hear you." That's where trauma recovery begins, not in denial, but in dialogue. When you stop shaming yourself for feeling anxious, you start to unlock deep emotional healing and self-regulation that lasts longer than any quick fix trick. Here's the thing. Emotions are like guests. When you open the door and let them in, they eventually leave. But when you pretend they're not knocking, they pound louder. The same goes for anxiety triggers and trauma responses. The more you resist them, the stronger they get. Instead, try this. Next time you feel anxious, write down exactly what you're feeling. No filters, no judgment. That's mindfulness for anxiety in its rawest form. It teaches your nervous system that it's safe to express, not suppress. Over time, this practice rewires your emotional patterns. You become less reactive, more aware, more compassionate toward yourself and others. That's the foundation of emotional resilience, the kind that allows you to live freely, with faith, even in uncertainty. This is how you begin to overcome anxiety and experience true inner peace. But all this wisdom only works if it's lived, practiced, and embodied. So let's bring it all together and talk about how to apply this in your everyday life. Now that you understand anxiety isn't weakness but a signal, the real question is, what will you do with that knowledge? Healing begins when you decide to stop fighting yourself and start listening. Your anxiety, your body, your faith, they're all trying to guide you towards safety and balance. Every breath, every act of mindfulness, every moment of self-regulation is a step toward nervous system healing and emotional freedom. You don't need to be fearless to find peace, you just need to be present. So here's your invitation. What's one habit you'll change today to calm your nervous system? Will you take a mindful walk instead of scrolling through stress? Journal your emotions before bed? Or finally give yourself permission to rest without guilt? Healing anxiety naturally isn't about perfection. It's about small, sacred choices that create big shifts over time. You already have the tools. Now it's about using them. And if this message spoke to you, don't let it end here. Subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and keep walking this anxiety healing journey with us. Every week, we dive deeper into mental health awareness, trauma recovery, and faith-based healing, because you deserve peace that lasts. Remember, anxiety isn't your enemy, it's your invitation to grow stronger, softer, and freer.